happy and excited to have you as an interview. Being a descendant of the great Travancore Royal Family, how do you feel as an author?
My romance with letters and words was there from the time I was a child. And my descent, taking back the ancestors, there are many who have been well-known writers, the most famous perhaps being Aswathi Thirunal Gowri himself. I don't know, I just came that way. I was very fond of writing. Even as a child I used to scribble, and my father, Colonel G.V. Raja, was always very proud of whatever I wrote. Mother was a little more critical about the whole thing. She was very particular about the use of words, about the structure of the sentences, no repetitions. If you say good in one place, you should not write good, you should write something else, which is of the same meaning. Repetition she did not tolerate, and she was very particular that you should not start a sentence with but and which is commonly done these days. I also know, we sometimes do it, but in those days it was not allowed. And if I write poetry, which I used to capitalize, she was particular about the rhyme, that I should rhyme in the words, the meter should be correct and all. Father was appreciating whatever I wrote, he was full of appreciation. Anyway, my writing I kept as private. I never shared it with anybody after that time. I didn't, neither mother nor father. I kept it to myself, and it just came. I loved writing, that's all. Because we were, and solitude being something which was a necessary part of my character, I would go and sit by myself somewhere, talk to the wind and the weather and the flowers and the trees and the animals and just scampered about and write whatever came into my mind.
I would like to know more about your literary works, temple architecture, the dawn and Kerala culture, etc.
Perhaps my best known book, God has, Padmanabha Swami has blessed me to write 13 books. I am on my 14th book now, but 13 books already published books. Out of that, perhaps my most momentous work was Sri Padmanabha Swami Temple, the book I have written on, which has gone into many editions. The Malayalam translation has gone to even more editions, and that is perhaps my most famous work. But another very momentous work is my latest. That is also doing it is very massive in every way, not just in size, but in content, in movement, everything. That is History Liberated, subtitled Sri Chithira Saga. That has been within about 3 to 3.5 months. Third impression has come. 1, 2, 3 impressions. First edition, second impression, third impression. Within about 3 months or so of release. It has made a lot of release, and even before it went into publication, even before the first letter was printed, the entire 2,000 copies of the first edition were pre-booked. That was the, anyway, of course Kerala culture, they are all there. All of them are there, Kerala culture, and that is also, it's very difficult to say which is most, but I mean, as per movement and popularity, Sri Padmanabha Swami Temple and History Liberated stand in the first row, definitely. Kerala culture, glimpse of Kerala culture, and all that, they are runners up, but they are runners up.
How was your journey from school to college days? Any special moments to share with us?
We never went to school. My sister, brother and I. My brother is the head of the family now. My elder sister and I, we never went to school. So the question of having school memories does not exist. The tutors came home and they taught us. But all of us went to college and graduated in different systems. And I graduated in economics. It was not a subject which was particularly enchanting to me. My idea and love was for literature. And I wanted to take English literature. But as luck would have it, Women's College here in Thiruvananthapuram did not offer English literature as main. Only the University College Travancore had it. The University College was a mixed college. And my family just put their foot down and said, no way you're going to a college where there are boys. You take something with a women's college can offer. That's all, we will never agree to your going to. But actually I think they were right. Having learned and lived with the four granite walls, though we had a lot of exposure, the world came to us, we have seen so much, so many international figures, national figures, so much we have seen. But however, that was in a rarefied atmosphere. But when you go into a mixed college, it would have been a different thing. I feel they were right. So, and since there was no option, because I was very bad at mathematics, science was something I couldn't tolerate. So choices were very few, and I hit upon economics. Along with 4 of my best friends, we all took economics. And it was very nice. College life was very nice. The transition from the palace to the college did not create any problem because we have been so exposed to meeting people of all types and kinds and stratas and ages. So there was no problem at all.
Okay. An amateur's attempt to poetry is an interesting. How do you get this idea?
It is a collection of poems. Actually, it's somewhat wrongly titled because it is not an amateur's attempt. But then my publisher felt that it sounds humble. Anyway, it was my 3rd poetry book. It's not the first.
Okay.
I've written 2 poetry books before. It's the 3rd one. And I had already written about 150 poems privately and kept without, out of them, many of them have been published. So during different, from the time I was small, I've been writing.
Yeah.
So during different time frames, different circumstances, different moods, different twists and turns of destiny, these poems came. Only my first book published, Thirunal Gowri, of about 12 poems or something, was very specific.
Okay.
That was very specific. Because I started with homage to Sri Padmanabha Swami, homage to Sri Padmanabha Swami, and the next was an entreaty to Bhagavan to keep my uncle safe for us. Uncle is Maharaja Chithira Thirunal, the last ruler of Travancore. He was my mother's elder brother. And all this belonged to him, and we have lived all our lives with him. Till he moved on to Padmanabha Swami. From the day we were born, all of us, we have been under his protection. So it was a prayer to Bhagavan to keep him safe. He was reasonably alright. He was never very robust in health, but he was reasonably alright. But from the next poem, Panama, was the next 3rd poem in the book, that I wrote with a piece of paper on my lap, sitting in the veranda of the Sri Chithira Thirunal Institute, named after him, after my uncle only. He was very 1 week, he was seriously critically ill. And this Panama was a desperate plea to Padmanabha Swami to save him. And to him, to my uncle also, forsake us not. Do not leave us as orphans of time. As orphans of time, please. So, but anyway, things happened, and from the next poem, Midnight, to the end of the book, Mrityunjaya, the whole thing is on my uncle.
Wow.
Whole thing. And it took me, during that 1 year after he moved on to Bhagavan, I felt I was going mad. I couldn't just come to terms with life. I couldn't come to terms with anything. I just could not. He had not taught any of us to face the twilight hours. How could we walk into an eternal midnight? We don't know how to walk, how to talk, how to live. It was terrible, terrible. And these poems sustained me. And that is how I started publishing it. That I published myself. On the other side, general, some of those poems are coming this also. Amateurs attempt. Just a
I'd like to know the relevance and significance of your books, Tulsi Garland and Lakshu.
They are around 30, together about 49 Travancore temples. Fortnight of 51, I'm not sure. 31 plus 29. 31 plus 29. They are all Travancore temples. Some of them are very famous. And I specifically hit on Travancore because I wanted to bring in the temples of Kanyakumari district. Kanyakumari district is very dear to the Travancorean heart and Travancorean history. But due to the extreme wisdom of the policy makers, amputation took place and we lost, Malayalam lost Kanyakumari district. With all its history, with all its culture, with its famous temples, with every milestone and in the sands, either being witness to history or being history themselves. We lost a lot when Kanyakumari went. And it was so dear to my uncle also, Thirunal. And I wanted to include the temples of Kanyakumari district. It was not possible if you used Kerala. Unfortunately, it could not. So I used Travancore only. The Tulsi garden starts with Kanyakumari district. Okay. Kanyakumari temple, I'm sorry. Kanyakumari temple. And it was wonderful for me. I went to all these temples and it was such a revelation, such an experience. Many of the temples opened up jewel boxes of information and it was wonderful. So both these books are on Travancore temples. Complementary books, there is no repetition in either. Tulsi is very special to Vaishnavites and Tulsi is a sacred tree anyway, even otherwise Tulsi is very sacred. So since I was writing on temples, I thought I would make it a Tulsi haram of my effort, of my words, and put on those temples of which I have. Subsequently, when the next one came, I thought since this was Tulsi Haram, I will make this the next one Rudraksha Mala. But all of them have not one particular type of temple. They have Vishnu temples, Shiva temples, Devi temples, Subramanya, all mixture.
You advise the current generation on book reading habits because they are hooked into so many other gadgets and all that. The feeling of book in the hand is different. I want your advice because
the advice, unfortunately, is the least wanted thing today or any time I suppose. So I could only rephrase my vocabulary and say suggestion instead of advice. Yes, as you have yourself very correctly observed, the feel of a book in your hand, even if you read a book on this iPad or whatever, you can. There are a lot of difference. What a strain that is, and how do you, your absorption, if you want to check on something, how do you do that? Are you going to go back all those years? It's not, you would rather compromise on that. But a book, something solid, something with you, it could be your friend, it could be your guide, it could be even something you don't like, some of the books you don't like. But however, every book has its value. In one way or other, sometimes it could be a negative value also, because some people utilize their gifts in a very negative manner. That's a totally different aspect of it altogether. But book reading is something I wish that is made more popular. But with the COVID and all that, I find that the tendency to connect with books is more. Then children, if you start young, we as children, there was no choice. We had to read. There was, all three of us, and because we did not go to school and we went to summer holidays to Ethiopian or something, either our tutors came along with us. We had no holidays. If they did not, it is worse. Because in those days we had tin trunks. A whole tin trunk of books will come. We are supposed to read the whole thing. Dictionary also accompanies. So whatever you don't understand, you write after consulting the dictionary and they will clear the doubts and you come back. So we have read the great masters, unabridged, Walter Scott. Walter Scott writes one page, one sentence. I can more or less follow it. If I want. In certain Srivatna, some temples, for instance, there are certain one page, one sentence. My sister would say, by the time you come to the end of it, you have forgotten the meaning. But anyway, Scott, Zanoni, Dickens, all the grandmasters, we were reading the original books when we were just in the fourth form. At the same time, the abridged version was being taught as non-detailed in the colleges.
Yes.
So by the time we came to the college, the non-detailed learning which is nothing, because we have already read the unabridged.
Yes. You are so gifted to have it before everyone has it.
Yes. Yes. So I would definitely request the children, especially the younger generations. Of course, you cannot spend your whole time reading. You have your studies, you have your whatever what the teachers give, your projects, whatever it is. It is true. I mean, you must have relaxation. All these things are there. You must say your prayers. But if you can set apart at least 15 minutes a day for extra reading, whatever is your inclination, 15 minutes a day, 24 hours.
Wow.
That would be a good beginning.
Despite your busy schedule, do you have any hobby close to your heart?
My hobby is my writing.
Please sing a sloka from Sri Thirunal Gowri Lakshmi.
Omkara Rupa Gamaniya Padaravinda Shri Vanji Bhuva Kuladevata Vishwarupa Shesheshayana Shiva Pujana Padmahasta Shri Padmanabha
Thank you, Amma, for your valuable time.
Thank you, and I hope by the blessings of God that you will proceed very well. You have many of the intrinsic qualities. You are humble, but you are knowledgeable, and you have a good command of expression. So all those things will definitely help you in a very substantial manner. All the very best to you, and it was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.